we're making a double batch of puff pastry spinach feta pouches. So I am doubling the recipe here, so just keep that in mind if you're following along. First thing we did is we crumbled some feta. I used a whole block, and that made a little over a cup. Next, we needed to chop a whole onion. I went ahead and used my chopper for this because I did want pretty small pieces. We also chopped up 2 cups of fresh spinach, and I added that to some oil. You want to cook this carefully. It does cook down pretty fast, so you just want to keep stirring it so it doesn't burn. Once that cooks down pretty good, you can see how vibrant and green it is. It's really pretty. And then we're gonna add the onions that we chopped. I didn't quite add all of them. I probably added about a cup worth. And then you just wanna keep cooking those until they cook down and they're translucent. So I am technically following a recipe, but I didn't think this was green enough. I felt like I kind of overpowered it with the onions. So I did have some parsley left over in the fridge. I just added the rest of my container. And that's the beauty about cooking at home. You can make any adjustments along the way that you need to, so it works best for you. And example number 1 is I did not have any fresh garlic, so I did have to use the garlic. So please keep watching till the end. I promise it'll be worth it. It's okay if you have to use garlic, it really is. Once that's cooked down and the pan is fragrant with the garlic, you just want to add it to your bowl. We're then going to add that feta cheese that we crumbled earlier. And then I did add a whole 15-ounce container of ricotta. Just a reminder, again, this is doubling the recipe, so you can follow this exactly if you want to make tons of pieces, maybe for a party or something, but otherwise you could break it in half. And then I did add just a little sprinkle of salt, and I did add a lot of pepper. The feta cheese is already kind of salty, so you don't have to add too much salt. And then the next thing we're going to do is work the puff pastry. So I just put a piece of parchment paper down. I sprinkle it with some flour, and then I floured my rolling pin as well. And then what I do, I roll it out, and then I put the top side down on the floured part. And then I just peel back the wrapper from the puff pastry, and then that way it's less sticky. And then I went ahead and floured the other side as well. And then I'm just gonna take my rolling pin to it and just kind of smooth it out. Now, this isn't totally necessary. If you don't want to use the rolling pin or you don't have one, it's totally fine, but I still would recommend flouring both sides of the puff pastry just to make it easier to work with later on. Now we're just cutting the puff pastry into 2 and 3 inch squares. You can see that my lines are pretty crooked. It really doesn't matter because we're just gonna fold it over and pinch it anyway, but there's our squares, and then we just add a little bit of the mixture to each, to the center of each square. Okay, so now we're gonna make our little pouches. So you just wanna fold each corner in, kind of tuck it as you go. If any of the filling comes out, you can just shove it back in. And then I just give it a little pinch at the top, and it makes a little pouch. Another way to do it, here I do the same process. I fold in each little side, pinch it, but then you can give it like a little twist, and that kind of makes it, looks like a little dumpling almost. And that's the amount of filling that I had left over in the end. So I'm gonna add that to some pasta that we're gonna make tomorrow night. And then I just gave everything a little egg wash. And then last but not least, we covered it with some everything bagel seasoning. And then I put them in the oven at 375 degrees for about 25 minutes, just until they were golden brown. I hope you guys give it a try. Enjoy.